Alright, the dynamic duo is back for Dino Fury Episode 4, New Recruits. Remember, we're only doing this for important episodes, and this is an important episode. It introduces Black and Green. So, recap Episode 2, we learn the morphing call, and it's kind of funny they're practicing it. Reminds me of Ninja Storm when they forgot the morphing call the first time they did it. Zeto's horns do indeed suck into his head. Overdrive reference. Creon is called Mucus, and he is best boy.
And I think her actress also voices Mucus, but I'm not certain.
Dino Fury Lego Megazord looks awesome. Episode 3, we got a monster who freezes people if you look at them. So blind fighting, that's pretty cool. Fortune teller, probably setting up pink and blue being the thing in the future. I don't know. Jane and J-Borg are the new Bulk and Skull for this season. They're sort of funny. I mean, I've seen worse than Power Rangers, so, you know, they're not terrible at it. The morphing call is link the morphing grid, and then they spin the little silver part on their morphers around, so it goes from a T-Rex head to a T-Rex head wearing armor. And then I like the morphing sequence. Reminds me a lot of Dino Thunder because they like punch the ground and it kind of looks like lava. Whatever, I don't know. The villains live in a like abandoned science lab or whatever. That's cool. And Void Knight is collecting the Sporexes because after they're defeated, they turn back into the little purple fetus things. And Void Knight wants to use them to power something. What that thing is, I don't know. Probably a future villain. Also, Zetos gets a alien message in a weird language, and he sends out a message, which is, you know, bound to lead to something in the future, possibly gold. So the real meat of potatoes, here's episode 4, New Recruits. So Void Knight just builds Boom Tower, who was the main villain of the Sentai, now just a generic villain. And so Dangle Boom Tower wants to go get a Zuricon because it's his favorite gem, or tell you what. Emma tries giving Zetos a job at Buzz Blast, but oh no, this new guy, Have, wants the job too, and he's hot. But luckily, the news lady decides, hey, why don't you both do a report? So Zetos goes to interview this girl named Izzy, and Javi goes to like do a thing about the Zuricon from earlier, but oh no, the monsters want it still. Funny running gag of the monster of the week, and no one can remember his name. Rangers show up, shenanigans, Javi gets the crystal, and he steals it, and a car, gets away. And hey, Mediocre Gamer, you were right. The park ranger is the father to Black and Green, and yes, they are the Black and Green Rangers. Thanks, opening, for spoiling it. But then Boom Tower gets the crystal back, shenanigans, and they break the crystal and get their powers, and their suits look just as great as the others. And yes, Izzy does have a skirt, but she just rips it off, which is a big fuck you from Hasbro to all the people who were demanding her to wear a skirt. I really like that. Cuts to this being not safe for work art. And then we have probably the best fight scene from Power Rangers since the Disney era. And then the monster grows giant, and then we send in the Megazord, and that's a nice thing about ryusoulger. The fight scenes were always really, really detailed and really, really fun to watch. Zetos gets the Sporex, and Javi gets the job, but not Zetos. Whoops. So far with the characters,
Zeto at first seems sort of like a generic stoic Red Ranger, but I'm glad in the newer episode we get to see sort of a funny side of him. Ollie is kind of a dick, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know much about him yet, except for the fact he's an asshole. Amelia, Hunter Dino is goals. I'm not gonna lie, I'm buying a Pink Ranger hoodie off of Etsy for the Dino Fury. I'm also gonna be buying a figure specifically for the key. I already have the Morpher. Javi, I hear he's gonna be the comic relief, and I'm hoping that is true. For the fact that we need more comedy in this series besides the newswoman and J-Borg, because they're not that funny. Plus, he's almost as good looking as Brendan Maya, who is the #1 best looking Power Ranger. Izzy, I like the fact I loved when she ripped off her skirt. It was very empowering, and it's a good way to match the Japanese footage. Plus, I see her as a cocky Power Ranger, and that's something I don't think we've ever had before. For the villains, Void Knight looks cool, but he's kind of a piece of cardboard. I don't know anything about him yet, and he's kind of bland. Mucus is best boy, and every time he's on screen, he steals the show. I want a figure. Hasbro, make one. In the newer episode, there's a joke I really like where they couldn't remember the monster's name.
Yeah, that was funny.
I don't really have anything to say about the non-Ranger human characters except for J-Borg, who's just a walking 01 reference. Plus, the company that made her is called Hartford Robotics, which is probably the company that made Mac from Operation Overdrive.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming at. I agree. It's still pretty early in the season, so, a lot of the characters could get better over time. The season's a real slow burn so far. Yeah, this is probably the best episode so far. I like it. But hey, what do you guys think? Did you like this episode? Or do you still hate Dino Fury and want a different Sentai to be adapted?